Yo, what's up everybody? How you doing? This is your alchemy coach, Coach Renz, and today in this video we're going to discuss sexual alchemy. Now in the previous video we talked about sexual alchemy as far as manifesting, and we talked about a few other things in additional videos. But in this one particularly, we are going to discuss briefly sexual alchemy and how to use it to heal someone of previous sexual or commitment relationship traumas. Okay, so it not all have to be traumas that are physical, but also the mental and the emotional traumas is what we're going to talk about today, and how to use sexual alchemy in order to do that. So just stick with me for a little bit. We're going to go through why, how, and the results that you can look forward to experiencing if you commit yourself to this. Now, disclaimer. I am not a licensed therapist, a psychologist, or anything of that sort. I am just a guy who's been studying Tantra, alchemy, human behavior independently since I was 19 years old, and have been able to help many people in my different ways that I've been as a professional and as a friend and as a couple, in couple relationships that I've been in. So the thing is, sexual alchemy, what is it? Let's get that part first. The brief understanding, and although you can go and watch one of my videos that I did, is one of my most popular videos on YouTube, that is Sexual Alchemy 101. You can go and you can watch that video. Sexual alchemy basically is, alchemy in itself is first turning things from lead to gold, increasing something from a base nature to a more divine spiritual nature, or taking the impurities out of something and purifying it. So alchemy in itself is that. So when you put sexual alchemy with alchemy, you get taking and purifying sex to the point that you and your partner experience intimacy on a metaphysical level, on a spiritual level, on a higher conscious level, where you experience it, to me, what in my opinion, the way that it should be experienced. Now it doesn't mean that you can't get like hardcore into it. You can still do all those things, but even when you do that, there's a different level of understanding when you're dealing with sexual alchemy. All right, because at that point you're incorporating your higher level energies, your upper level energies, your heart energy. And if you've seen my videos on the chakra system, there's the base level that's at your spine. That's your foundation. That's your base. It's blocked by fear. Your sacral chakra, which is in your genitalia area, that is blocked by shame. Your power chakra, blocked by guilt. Then your heart chakra, now, which is blocked by the loss of love. Now here's the thing, at the heart chakra, in order to elevate to a higher chakras, you have to do a 90-degree turn in your energy, your spirit, your thinking, your mindset. Everything has to have a 90-degree turn. When you make that 90-degree turn, no longer are these what people like to term lower chakras, of the idea that they are beneath, that they are somehow substandard, because it is the lower chakras that fuel your upper chakras, and it's only lower because we're talking going up, right? But there is, and here's what we must understand. It is not just like the spirit is so much higher than the body, than the physical, but they're one, connected in the same. They're unified. They affect each other, just as the law of correspondence says, as above, so below, and so below, as above. They all affect one another. So we can't look down upon the sacral chakra, the power chakra, and your foundation chakra. They are just as vital and important. Ask the ocean how important is the river that feeds it. It's just as important. Without the rivers that feed it, the oceans wouldn't survive. So it needs the energy that flows from your lower chakra, it feeds the upper chakras. So your heart chakra needs a 90-degree turn, which means that in order for your sexual alchemy, in order for it to go to a higher level, you have to learn and understand love a lot better and a lot more. So that's what sex. So you got your heart chakra, then your throat chakra, which is where your communication comes from. It's blocked by the lies that you tell yourself. Then your third eye, which is blocked by the fact of thinking that you're disconnected from everyone and everything. And then your crown chakra, which is releasing of earthly attachments. And in this format. It's the releasing of ideas of what sex is, what a relationship is supposed to be, how a man is supposed to be, and how a woman is supposed to be. It's about being, just being. Being who you are designed, created, molded to be, just being. Not being because society has said this is what you are supposed to be, this is what you are. It's just as I say often, the moment you label me, you negate me. So when it says that, and I grew up in an environment where it says that men are to conquer as many women as you can. There was nothing emotional about it. There was nothing connecting about it. It was all about just base, getting it, and getting it. So when you understand sexual chakra, you raise the level of understanding to a point where an encounter is not just an encounter. It's not something that you just give away freely. It's something that is precious. So that's really a kind of a short version idea of what sexual alchemy is. Now, in all this understanding, what I studied a ton of is called Tantra. Many people know what the Kama Sutra is. And the Kama Sutra is positions, different positions that you get into in order to make love to someone. Now, the Western culture, Western mind took the Kama Sutra from the Indus Valley, that's India, Hindu, and which is in stone on the Hindu temples. Many Westerners took this as to the graphic, base nature of man. Just, oh, how good is this position? How good does this position or that position feel? When the positions are what I like to liken unto meditation mudras, or just meditation positions, or yoga positions, they are the positions that you get into, but they're designed to move and release certain energy. Just as mudras are when you see people meditating and they're holding their hand like this. This is your base mudra for your foundation chakra that's planted on your knees, and you hold that hand position there. If you were doing your sacral chakra, your hand position is here. You know, your power chakra, your hand position is here. You know, your heart chakra, your hand position is here. So on and so forth. Your throat chakra, you know, and then your third eye mudra, right? And then your crown chakra mudra, right? So they're just hand positions to act somewhat like antennas and control rods for the chakras. So the Kama Sutra are positions that act as antennas and control rod for what is called Tantra. Tantra is the connective energy, the energetic flow, the movement, the understanding, the mentality that makes it something bigger than just physical pleasure. You still gain physical pleasure, but that physical pleasure is also in addition to the connection that you have and the emotions that you have. So it all becomes like one thing, and the thoughts. All right, so it's the emotion, the connection, the pleasure is all one, and the thought, everything one and the same. That is a basic idea of Tantra. So I want you to understand that. And that's something that I discovered. I started studying sexual alchemy when I was 19. I discovered Tantra when I was 21. And so those are things I've been studying for an extended period of time. Sometimes I've studied them more intensely than others. And it's been a very big help in my life. And, you know, there are different exercises you do and that sort of thing. So in one of my sexual alchemy videos, I talked about how sexual alchemy is used for manifesting. And sexual alchemy has three main purposes. 1, manifesting, 2, connection, and 3, healing. So we're going to focus on healing for the most part for this video. But just to give you a little bit of what I talked about in the first one, at the point of orgasmic rush and through the buildup of the orgasm, and then the point of orgasmic rush is when your sexual energies have been channeled, and if you know how to use the Master and Johnson's term, upsuck the energy upward into your heart or your throat or your third eye or your crown, depending upon what you're looking to manifest in your life, then that surge of energy, drawing that energy up to say if you just want to, you want to be more authoritative at your job, you're going in for you're a salesperson and you want to be more confident. So in your sexual experience, you draw that energy into your belly, like when you're feeling that orgasmic energy, you draw it into your belly, and then you see yourself being that great salesperson, being confident, not being afraid. You seeing yourself being what you desire to be, and you're drawing that sexual energy. Just like when I did my meditation video, I talk about how you move the energy up and then you release it in an And even in when you're making love, how many times does the sound or similar sounds of come out? You know, when, especially in the orgasmic field, you may experience that sound. It is drawing that energy up to the right? Now, some people may have that sound after, but is drawing it up. If you want to communicate better, you draw it up to your throat chakra. If you want to deepen the connection, you draw it into your heart chakra. And we talked about in that Sexual Alchemy video of how when you're manifesting to keep the energy with you, when the orgasm is happening, you draw that energy into your heart and you unk it around your body and your partner's body and back into your heart, rotating that energy, keeping that energy flowing within you. Right? And there are physical benefits to this as well. So we talked about that briefly. I talked about that briefly now, but I talked about that in longevity when I talked about manifesting. Now I haven't done one as far as connection, because in the manifesting I talked about connection. I talked about a little bit of connection here. In order for healing to work, you have to be connected to the person. In other videos I talked about doing a heart hold meditation. This is where a person straddles you in the Yab Young position, right? Where the one person sits. You can sit cross-legged, legs straight out, however what is comfortable. The other person straddles you, right? They straddle you and lock their legs around your back. And then it's best done with the least amount of clothing as possible. You don't have to turn it into anything. If you can, there are higher levels of it, but you take your right hand and you put it on the person's heart. Now you can do this differently. You can do one of two things. You can take your left hand, put it around their back, right meeting the heart, and hold them there. This is also good for support, but it's you're connecting the energy through the body. If you don't do it that way, you put your right hand on their heart, they put their right hand on your heart, you take your left hand and put it on their heart, on their hand that's covering your heart, and they do the same to you. And then you get in synchronistic breath with each other, focusing and contemplating on how you feel about one another, the love that you share, the connection that you share. Don't do this with anybody. Do this with only people you want to connect with. I've said in many videos how when my children were small, I took the time, and many people know this, and this may give you the validity to understand it. I put my small children's naked chest on my naked chest, heart to heart, and I breathed with them when they were babies. And I did this like almost every day for like almost a year. And the connection that I have between me and my children is amazing. It's amazing. Now, admittedly, because of work, I did it with my first two children, my two girls, way more often than I did it with my son. When my son was born, I was working like 12, 14-hour days. So I didn't get to do it as much with my son. And the connections are very evident. But their mom didn't do it with our first daughter because she didn't think that it was legit. But when she saw the connection between me and my daughter, our second child and our son, our third child, she did it all the time. So, and you can see the difference. You can see the connective difference. Of course, there are other things you can point to, but that is a major aspect of it. So you got to have connection with someone in order to help them heal through traumas. So let's jump right into healing, sexual alchemy, and healing. I'm 47 years old. And the majority of women that I've either had a relationship with, or they were just really good friends, or they were clients, depending upon doing my personal training company and my coaching company, many of them have been through some type of trauma. I'm going to say a good 2/3 of them have been through some type of physical trauma, whether they were physically abused by a man or a parent, or they were sexually abused by their man or a parent or a family member. But somebody in some way caused them trauma. Now, I will say that almost 100% have experienced some type of emotional or mental trauma from a man who was either a father or uncle, brother, or a husband or a boyfriend. Almost 100, I'm gonna say 99% of them have experienced that, and from that they carry a lot of baggage, they carry a lot of resistance, they have a built-up wall around them. And ladies, understand, men have these same issues. We just don't talk about them, and we hide them, and we try to ego our way around or over them. So you're not alone, first of all. So, and that's one of the things in the connection part. Men, you must let your woman in on the trauma you've experienced, because it creates a deeper connection and trust with them. There is the heart hold. That is great. That is amazing. That is amazing. But when I express to women the trauma that I experienced, it allows them to see a vulnerable part of me. It lets them know that I trust them. So whatever the physical, the different physical and mental trauma, and emotional traumas I've experienced, I let my partner in, which creates a deeper connection. And it allows you the trust that you need to help them heal, because you must have that connection and trust. So most of the people, they've experienced something, a breakup that was so devastating to them because the person used them, or an abusive husband or boyfriend who beat them physically, or one who mentally berated them constantly and consistently, or the ones who horribly raped them, the ones who fathers or stepfathers or uncles who raped them and beat them. These types of situations many women have experienced. And because they have, you're finding yourself arguing about you're distant. We're not connecting intimately. You don't talk to me and express your emotions. I don't feel like you get me, or I don't feel like we're connected or moving forward. And the woman may be feeling like, I keep going through this over and over with men. We get to a certain point and then they just leave, and I think they just can't handle a strong woman. It's what some people say, or they think the grass is greener on the other side. It becomes some excuse. But truth be told, it is the fact that you're not truly connecting on a deeper level, and that both of you have some type of intimacy healing that needs to happen in order for you to connect. Because you think, I've dealt with my trauma before. I saw a psychologist, I saw a therapist, I've dealt with it, I've learned to live with it, I'm able to have relationships. But it's like measuring success. Success is not measured by you against another person. I can't measure the success of my relationship compared to someone else's relationship. But no, success, you got sex on the brain, huh? Success is measured by you and what you could have been and what you could have done. This is one reason why I love golf. Golf is not about me against the other person. It's about me against the last time I played. Last time I shot an 80, can I shoot a 79? I'm at the same course, conditions are similar, I should be able to shoot a 79. If I don't shoot a 79, I'm not getting better. I'm not beating myself, I'm not getting better. It's the same deal here. Just because your relationship is better than the people next door who are always yelling, fussing, fighting, arguing with each other, just because you have intimacy twice a week and the person over there, they have it twice a month, even your twice a week is still only 104 night times that you have sex compared to 365 days. If you have it once a week, that's 52 times out of 365 days. So you're compared to the fact that if you had a deeper connected relationship, you could be making love 4, 5, 6 times a week, which is definitely more days in the year than there are days in the year. The majority of days in the year. Your relationship should be measured by what your relationship can be, not what it is compared to someone else's relationship. So in order to facilitate that, we must and should go through some type of sexual alchemy that is geared towards healing. And That's why it's needed. That's why we need this in order so that we can get past our traumas and not pass those traumas on to the next person, the next child. All the trauma that a woman has is carried in her womb. So that trauma goes on to the child, whether male or female. So if she was abused, then that abusive energy has traveled with the child, and that child goes on, to the next level, and they pass that abuse on themselves. So you could have people like to talk about generational curses and breaking them, where there's generational traumas that we need to break as well. Right? Those are part of those curses, is the generational traumas. The fact that your grandmother was raped, and then your mother was raped, and you may not have been raped yourself, but you're carrying the traumas of your mother and your grandmother, and you need that healing. Your grandmother wasn't loved at the level, because in that time frame people got married because it was not out of love all the time, but convenience or childbirth, or in a small town and there's not many options, and we get married. I know people who just called up, hey, let's get married, and didn't have a loving connection with each other, and the relationship never blossomed into that, and there was the love was never really there, just a love of I appreciate you. And so the person went their whole life without feeling that love, and that passed on to their children, and their children continue to pass it on unless somebody breaks the cycle, right? Somebody has to decide that cycle must be broken. So this is why. So how do we do this? Well, as I said, to develop a connection, tell your story to your mate. To develop a connection, practice a heart hold. To develop your connection, do those things. But to sexually heal someone, after you know their story, you have to become the opposite of what they need first. If a woman was in a loveless relationship that didn't give compliments, didn't give adoration, didn't build her up, you got to be the builder now. You're Bob the Builder. Right? So now you stop you find out what she loves. Like my lady loves music. She loves music. Loves music. Right? So we was at a store today, and a song started playing, and in the middle of the store, I slid up to her and started doing a little dance, a little sugar here on the cheek, left and right, and then I just whispered to her, I love being with you. I love to dance with you anytime. Right? I'm putting in the love, giving that connection, that's been missing out. You don't just have to do that when they're feeling that because your woman went through something. Just do it anyway. She loves music, so I'm just going to do it anyway. I mean, it wouldn't matter. She's not, actually in that one, there's no trauma there. There's different. But in that one, just give her the love, man. Just give her the love. Just show her. Just, do those acts. You're driving down the street, hold her hand. I appreciate you. I love you. You are amazing to me. Those words of affirmation can go so far towards the healing. And I know you thought that I was going to start out by saying, oh, just start having sex. No. It first begins with just your intimacy that happens outside the bedroom. It first begins with you dancing with her, with you going for a walk with her, with you surprising her, taking her on a picnic. It starts with those the slight touches here and there, the acknowledgement of her pain. It starts there. And if it's been drastic, ask permission. Ask permission. And when I say ask permission, I want you to think about this. Oftentimes, a woman who's been raped, she may not have sunken in. She may still have sex. And that first time you guys are being intimate, where you think you're being very gentle, and you may be. But before you make love, before you enter her, ask permission. Even though everything indicates that. You're kissing, you're throwing out, taking the clothes off, you're doing through all the foreplay. Everything is going great, and you think you have her permission. Just pause for a minute right beforehand. Just beforehand. Look at her in her eyes. And gentlemen, when you're conveying emotion, you look at a woman in her right eye. Sorry about to say left. In her right eye. You look at her in her right eye. conveying emotion. You look at her left eye conveying logic, and her right eye conveying emotion. And I'm saying that so backwards. You look at her in her left eye to convey the emotion, and her right eye to convey the logic. So you look at her in her left eye, and you say, may I have permission to unify with you? May I have permission to join with you? Ask for her permission and wait for her to say yes. She may, at that moment, pause and say no, because she just may have realized for the first time that she actually has control over who does this. Although she has made love since the time frame, this may be the first time she realizes that she has control. She may realize that you legit asked permission, and it could touch her to a point where she burst into tears, and you may just need to hold and console her at that moment. And you may not make love, but you've stepped up another level of her healing. You stepped up another level of her healing simply by asking permission. Asking permission. So one of the ways is to ask permission, looking into her left eye. One of the ways is to dance with her and reaffirm her by telling her how beautiful she is and telling her what she means to you as far as trust and appreciation. Telling her all these things, finding out her love language and displaying her love language. You know, right? If it's acts of service, then perform the acts of service. If she chooses actions over words, then be more actionary than words. If she loves gifts, be a gift giver. But do whatever is necessary, whatever it is. And when you're being intimate with one another, ask that permission, but be gentle, soft. Be what she has not received before. And gentlemen, another way of doing this is in the moments of making love. When everything is crescendoing, everything is rising, the energy is rising, slow down. Look at her. Explain to her, exclaim to her how you truly feel. Exclaim to her what she means to you. Tell her that she's safe. Tell her that you'll protect her. Tell her that you will care for her. Tell her that you will love her. Tell her that you will be there for her. Tell her all the things that she's been missing. Provide her that security she's been needing. Provide for her that safety she's been needing by telling her in the moments of it. Now, if you have not told her these things before you made love, don't wait till you make love the first time and now you're telling her. This needs to be a repeat of what you said before. Baby, you're beautiful. And I told you was beautiful 50-11 other times. Baby, I trust you. I told you I trust you 50-11 other times. Baby, you are safe with me. I've sat with you and held your hand and told you so many times how safe you are. Make sure you've done that many times before in a non-sexual moment, but an intimate moment. Make sure you've told her that many times before you do it in the throes of lovemaking. And it can't be in the very beginning. You just got started. You don't have the build of energy yet. Your sexual energy hasn't built up. Allow the sexual energy to build up, even through the crescendo of the orgasm. Make sure that you are saying it, telling her that, but it has to be authentic. It has to be authentic, real. Now, and you can do this not only during that time, but if your woman has experienced tremendous amounts of trauma or a lot of trauma, it doesn't even have to be a lot, but especially if they've experienced a tremendous amount of trauma, utilizing your hand on her vagina, massage, giving her a vaginal massage and telling her these things, letting her sit upon you in a position where she feels safe, in a cuddled position where her head may be here and her body is along you, and she's sort of wrapped your leg around her, and you're giving her a vaginal massage, and you're holding her, and you are telling her these things while you're giving her a vaginal massage. Tell her then as well. When you do these things, And it takes time, gentlemen. It's not something that happens overnight. And ladies, just reverse everything I just said and do it to him in the same way, right? Reverse it, do it to him. It takes time, people, for this change to happen. It takes time for them to start gaining that security. It takes time for them to heal. If I cut myself today, just because I put some medicine on it, it doesn't heal the next day. I don't look for the healing to have happened the next day. It takes time. It may take a month. It may take a year. It may take 5 years. It may take 10 years. But if you're patient enough, it takes time. You have to know your patience. I'm not going to sit up here and say that every guy or girl has to be so patient that they got to stick through something for 20 years. If you know you got 1 year patience, then you're a 1 year patient person. If you know you got progressive patience, like I'm a progressive patient person. If I have like that 1 year, 2 years, I'm not lying. I got about 3 years of patience. But then it has to be progressive. If I'm not seeing, if we not went a year, not even a year, we went months, depending upon what the issue is. If we went months and I haven't seen any progress, I'm not staying around. But that's just me. It's not a shallowness. I'm not judging you if you're that kind of person. If you're a 1 month person, I'm not going to judge you. But I need progression. If I see you're progressing, getting better, you're working on it, that you are trying, and then I see that you're making improvements, not just trying. I want to be 5 years later. You can't just be, I'm trying. We see some movements. I have patience. So you got to know your patient level. But if you are patient and you do this, you will begin to realize a deeper connection in your relationship than you've ever had before. Your partner will truly become your true best friend. They will truly become your soulmate. They will become your twin flame. They will become your everything. They will be your everything. Tag team. They will be your everything. Hashtag tag team. They will be your everything. If you can do this, that will be the results. That will be the results. And you will find yourself with a partner who has your back. You will find yourself with a partner that says that whatever we want to manifest in this lifetime, we can. Whatever we want the heavens to bring into our life, it will be done. Whatever energy we want to have in our household, in our being, it will be. That whatever you put your mind to and you focus on and you keep doing it, the two of you will develop that. And you will be a true power couple that is not measured solely by monetary gain or material gain, but it will be measured by the amount of love that you have between each other, and you will have the greatest love you've ever experienced. The greatest love you've ever experienced. So that will be your result. And I hope you guys take this to heart. Listen to this 50-11 times until you get it, until you have an understanding of it. If you need some help in deeper understanding, I can coach you through it. It's not a problem. I'm not a physical participant, just putting that clear, but I will coach you through it, instruct you on what to do, how to do it, processes that you and your partner need to go through in order to develop that deeper connection. You can find me on CoachRenz.com, and we can set up different tantric meditation programs for you guys to go through in order to create this sexual healing and be able to join and become one with one another. Now, I know some of you may have been looking, I meant to say this at the beginning, but if you stuck with me through the end, then you're really going to know this. I should have said there's a surprise at the end. But if you notice that I have a bunch of popcorn behind me. I'm also the owner of Uncle Renz Popcorn. That's yourpopcorn.com. And for the month of September, if it's not below my name right now, below this video right now, a code, I'm going to put it in the description, depending on how long it takes me to edit this video. For the rest of September, if you put in the bonus code September deal, then you will get $3 off your purchase of gourmet popcorn from Uncle Renz Popcorn. That's $3 off your purchase of gourmet popcorn from Uncle Renz Popcorn. That'll get shipped to you in these red bags as soon as you put the order in. So that would be my September deal. So promo code September deal and get $3 off your purchase. And I greatly appreciate it because it helps to fuel this channel. I'm able to do this because of you guys making these purchases, and I appreciate it, and I give so much gratitude for it. So thank you very much. And everybody who subscribes to the channel, keep subscribing. Everyone who supports the channel through Patreon, I greatly appreciate you guys. It really does help the channel a lot. It helps a lot. So thank you very much. You guys have been amazing and awesome. Remember, never let anybody label you, because the moment they label you, they negate you, and you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.